In this video I'm gonna show you how I got from Masters to Grandmaster, and I will leave a card for my video on how I got to Masters right up here. Oh, here. Let's get into it. Tip number 1. The small things matter. Every single advantage, just try to press it. Because, you know, saving 2 HP, it might not sound that significant, but it could mean the difference between going 4th and going 5th. So I'm gonna bring up an example here and show you guys. Let's say you're playing against a Silas. Of course we're gonna lose this fight. He has 4 items, I have 0 items. But what's the important thing here is that we position against the Nasus. So then we actually want to position on the left side. So this is something I started doing a lot more. Not only in the early game, but more in the early game. To just get the right side so you're not just attacking their Silas, because we can never beat this board, but if we're on the left side we will at least kill the Nasus, and that is basically like getting plus 2 HP. So if you just do this, get the perfect position every round, that could basically make the difference between getting a, you know, 5th or a 4th. On to the second tip. Traits are fake. Huh? What do you mean, GoldenOtter? Are you trolling? Alright, what I mean is basically that don't get baited by the traits, because the only thing that matters in TFT is that you win the fights in the end of the day. And yeah, traits are just a number. The only thing that matters is board strength. So if you're playing a 5 Anima squad, let's say, you basically have to play a Silas and a Nasus, which are essentially 2 useless shitters. So it would be 10 times better to just remove these guys. Even though it kind of seems pretty weird, it's just better to play 2 Aatroxes. Just because now you get frontline, so it looks a bit silly, I know. Like, one thing I did that was pretty funny is they removed recon, so you can't do it anymore, I guess. But I played the 4 recon, and you basically only need a bunch of frontline. And what I did is I got the hero augment super size on sack, and my team was basically just 4 recons, and I played 3 sacks. Even 4 when I leveled up, just because it was my strongest board. It was a bit silly, but it still got me to a 2nd or a 3rd in, you know, Master Grandmaster lobby. So traits are fake. On to the 3rd tip. There is no such thing as luck. You are never lucky. Stop blaming Mortog right now. Now, of course, there's gonna be plentiful of the games where you're just unlucky or you don't hit. But the key thing here is that every single other player in the lobby has the same cards that you are dealt. Everybody goes into a game. Maybe they get contested, maybe they don't, maybe they hit, or maybe they don't. But if you average the games out on, let's say, 100 games, everybody will have the same amount of luck and, you know, unluck. So don't blame luck. If you're unlucky for 10 games in a row, I preach for you. Feels bad, man. But it's gonna turn, and then you're gonna have, let's say, 10 lucky games. So don't blame luck. It all averages out in the end. Just try to focus on the things you actually can change instead of blaming the game or whatever. And if you can do this, you're basically gonna be in the top 5% of people, because we as people, we are defensive. We can't really take critic. So once we make a mistake or if we lose a game, we tend to only focus on the negatives instead of actually, you know, listening to what actually happened. Okay, you might have gotten a bit unlucky in one area, but there was an improvement you could have made in the game in another area, which could have gotten you 2 placements higher, let's say. So, you know, if you take accountability, you can actually learn from your mistakes and play better overall. So that kind of transitions me to the 4th point. Do VOD reviews if you can and have the time and you think it's fun. You know, just replay your games and see, maybe I could have done this better. Where did I int? Where did I make this mistake? And you can learn a lot from that. What I did, I thought it was pretty fun, is I took on Meta TFT, you can find a VOD library. I just watched the top players and watched how they play their games different from mine, and learned from these players, because yeah, if you just observe another player that's better than you, then you're naturally gonna become better. That's like getting a free ticket to learn information instead of having to go through hundreds of games to learn it. You just can watch the Soviet or something. On to the 5th point. Should you be a stat rat or should you not be a stat rat? Basically, this is the first set I've used stats, and it's the first set I got a Grandmaster. I don't know, coincidence, maybe, maybe not. Anyhow, I think I've learned a lot from stats. You can learn what is really good and, you know, what is really bad. Essentially, if you just go to the comp that you're playing, you can, you know, calculate what is best here. So let's say if you're wondering between taking let's say Anima Squad Crest, not Quest, or if you should take Knife's Edge, for instance. Maybe this is an obvious choice, but just to show you an example, then you can see Knife's Edge has a 4.8% win rate, and then we search for Anima Squad Crest and it's a 4 win rate. So you can learn a lot here and see what augments are generally better than others. Of course, these are not set in stones. Some games, another augment would perhaps be better than Anima Squad Crest. Let's say you have a bunch of redemptions for some reason, and you have a lot of healing and shielding in your team. Then perhaps, you know, first aid kit would be better. It might not be that good according to the stats, but in some games, even though it has a good win rate to augment, it might be bad. Let's say Sunfire board. If you already have, you know, a Morel or a Sunfire, you don't have the value for Sunfire board, and just because it has a high win rate doesn't mean it has a high win rate in your game. So you shouldn't only listen to stats, but it can help you a great deal. And items. This is a fun category as well. Here you can see what items are generally really good. I think most MF items are pretty decent. You can see here the player base really likes to build Sojin, so there you see all the diamond players like to build Sojin and the UL Gauntlet, but it doesn't even have that high of a win rate. But it's probably because there's so many games and it has averaged out. Let's see if we find a better example. Let's see, Recon Kaisa here. Here you can see that, you know, Ginso is a really popular choice on Kaisa, but it doesn't even have the best win rate. Like, I see a lot of people who think Ginso is the best item, but you basically get a better placement if you build the Static Shiv. So if you have the choice between Static Shiv and, you know, a Ginso, and you see it has a lower win rate, perhaps the item is better, but you need to do your own conclusion as well. So you don't just blindly listen to stats, but it can be really good. Another thing is really nice for, since there's so many traits or so many augments this set, you can just go into augments, and when you're at the hero section, you can just take note of some augments that are really good. Like at 2-1, you see that, you know, the Camille one apparently is really good. It's like the last set where, you know, the Poppy one was really good. Bigger, better, buckler. Like, everybody was taking that, and for some reason, Reign of Anger was the highest win rate augment as well. So you can just take note of some augments that are really good and some that are trash, and it can help you with choosing the right one. So this concludes my video of my top 5 tips I got from climbing from Master to Grandmaster, and obviously it's gonna be a ton of different things you can do in TFT. These are just the ones that I think were the reason that got me from Master to Grandmaster. So hopefully it's of some use to you, and hopefully I will do another one of these videos, but you know, challenger version next set, so look out for that. If you learned anything from this video, I would appreciate it if you subscribed, and I will be sure to post a lot of more TFT set 8.5 content. Have a great one. Peace out.